Alright, in this video what I want to show you guys is basically how to get started on your how-to slideshows or Google slideshows. I know in class we started it before you guys left, before we went on to remote learning. But I wanted to go ahead and go over it again so you guys had a video to kind of refer to if you needed to go back to. So to start with, if you go to Google Classroom, in the assignment I have this handout. And basically what this handout will show you is basically what the requirements are for it. So what we have here is you need to create a Google slideshow presentation that shows your audience how to do something. You want to make sure that you pick something that is you are able to do, that you know how to do. It could be a hobby, a sport, something like that, favorite food. Usually, like I said in class, at this time of year, a lot of families like to make Christmas cookies and things like that. So you can always pick your favorite Christmas cookie and get the recipe and use that as your how-to instruction. To start with, then, what you're going to do is, if you have any questions about your topic or whatever, please, send me an email and ask me. And if I think it's a good way to go, you can go ahead and go with that. Then, generally, any kind of recipe though will work pretty well if that's what you want to do. To start with, the first slide that we're going to be working with is your title slide. So slide one, we kind of started that in class, is basically just your title. Slide two should be some kind of bullet list. It might be a list of materials, it might be a list of ingredients, something like that. Then slides 3 through 7 should be one slide per step. So you want to have about 5 steps involved in whatever it is that you're doing. If you end up with only 4, that's probably fine. But try to shoot for at least 5 steps in whatever it is that you're explaining how to do. Then slide 8 would be the end slide, basically a conclusion. Kind of tell me what the product looks like when it's all completed. So then, over here on the right-hand side of this requirement sheet, I have some different features that I would like you to include. Basically, you want to come up with a title that is just not black and white. You want to use something that's a little more creative. You can use the Wordart that we've used in the past on the golf scorecard, or you can use something like that. You also want to use some animations, and I'll show you what animations are as we go through this. Obviously, the second slide is going to have a bullet list. Again, I'd like you to try to use some word art someplace in it. The title's a good spot for that. Background colors and pictures. And I'll show you how to add some different types of backgrounds. Also, pictures. You want to include pictures pretty much on every slide. You should have some kind of picture, whether it's a background picture or if it's like individual pictures of certain things. Then one way or another, I would like to see some pictures. I also like to see some, obviously, animations for those pictures and also for text that you use. Try to animate everything that's in the slideshow. Some way, somehow, do something with it. And then also you want to include some slide transitions. And if you want to use some, sounds or musics or things like that, you can also do that. Those are just optional, though. Okay, so now, to get started on this, we're going to go ahead and open up a Google slideshow. And you can just open up a blank presentation. If you've already have one going, if you've already started this in class, and you can use the one that you started in class, obviously, you don't have to continue, start a new one. But I'm going to go over here and start a new one just in case some people haven't gotten this far yet. So I'm just going to use the example of how to bake Christmas cookies. All right, so obviously, this box, this is just plain black and white text, I would, again, like I said, I would like it to be a little bit more than just black and white. At the very least, what you're going to do is if you type in your title here, I would like to see it a different color, so you can highlight this. And then up here, you can, where's the color? Oh, here's the text color right here. You can go ahead and click on that and maybe change the text color at least. I would also like you to use something other than Arial. That is the default font that is usually in there. So come up with something else, whether it's permanent marker or something like that. Something a little more creative other than just plain text that it comes with. Now this is one way to do the title, but I also said that you could use Wordart, and I'll go over that again real quick. Move this stuff out of the way a little bit so I can put this in here. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Insert, and I'm going to use that same title example. And if I go to Insert, I'm going to go to Insert Wordart. So here's Wordart. Go ahead and click on that, and then I can type this in: how to make Christmas cookies. Alright, so then I go ahead and hit enter, and that should pop in there. Now you'll notice that it's all in one line. How I have it up here on the top part is how to make Christmas cookies, in 2 lines, right? Well, if I wanted to do the same thing, just like we did with the golf scorecard when we're doing our word art, you put your cursor where you want to separate them. So in this case, I'm going to put the cursor between make and Christmas. Then I'm going to hold shift on my keyboard and hit enter. And that will make it go down to 2 lines. Then if I hit enter again, and you'll see that title goes down to 2 lines. Now I can also change the font on here, and just like I did up here, just come up here to font, and I'm going to use permanent marker again, so it kind of makes it the same type of thing. But you'll notice that in the word art, I have like a outline around the lettering, so it just makes it stand out a little bit more. So again, I can go ahead and if I want to, I can change the fill color of the lettering. So here's the fill color. If I want to make that red, I could do that. I can also change the border. Right now I think it's black. I can also go ahead and go in there and change that, maybe make it green. It's dark green maybe. Okay, so that's one thing you can do. You can also do, let's close this out. Let's see format options here. Let's open that up. And then I can also change, I can add a drop shadow if I want to add a drop shadow. I can just come down here to reflections and add a reflection to it. So it kind of dresses up the word art a little bit. So since I want to use that instead of this one, I'm just going to go ahead and delete this box, or cut it, I think. I have to cut it. Should want me to cut it. Hold on. There we go. Sometimes you got to play around with it to get it to say cut, but it should go in there like so. And then I can move this back up, make this my title. If I stretch it out, I think it will increase the size a little bit how I want it. So I just make it stand out. Fill up the space. Don't leave too much blank areas around there. In the subtitle, again, this should be your name. Okay, so you can put that in there, and you can leave that at Arial if you want to, use the same type of font. You could do that as well. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and add a second slide here, and then this is going to be my list of stuff that I'm going to put in here. So now, with this one, since I'm doing a recipe, what I want to do is I want to use the slide that has titles with 2 columns. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that one, which is this one right here. And you'll see that now I have my title with 2 columns. So my title for this slide is going to be what you will need. All right, so in this side, I'm going to put ingredients. And on this side, I'm going to put materials. So obviously ingredients, depending on what they are, I'm going to hit enter. I want to add a bullet list here. Now it doesn't come up with an automatic bullet list right now. So what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to close out format here, and it should open up a lot of different tools here. If you don't see these tools, you just click those 3 little dots, and then there's some additional tools there with those 3 little dots. But my bullet list is right here. It's this one right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and then I can start listing the ingredients I'm going to need. Now, if you're doing a specific recipe, you want to tell people how many. So maybe it's 2 cups of flour. I don't know. Just kind of making up a recipe here. Sugar. Guess I should spell it right. Maybe 1 cup of sugar. I don't know. Okay, so whatever it is, you put it in there like so. And you just list your ingredients however they list it on the instructions. As far as the material goes, the same thing applies. You want to have your bullet list. Go ahead with a bullet, and then you can go ahead and do what the materials you're going to need. An oven, right? You're going to need a cookie sheet, a bowl for mixing, a mixer, spatula maybe. Alright, so whatever it is that you need to make cookies, right? That's what you would put in there. Alright, so that's what we have. So then my third slide, and actually what I'm going to do is move that one up to my second one. The third slide then is going to be step 1. Whatever step 1 is, that's what you would put in here. So in this case, step 1 is, preheat your oven. Okay, so that would be step 1. I mean, and basically it could be that simple. It doesn't have to be anything long or drawn out. It could be a real simple step. And then what I want to do, so what I'm going to show you on this particular slide is I want to add pictures that go with whatever instruction that is. So in this case, I have step 1. I'm going to preheat my oven. I want to find some pictures. So I'm going to go to Insert. And then if I click on Insert Images, well, Google Slides is nice. You can actually do things right from the internet. So you can go Insert Images, and you want to search the web for them. Okay, so that will pop this up over here on the right. And in this case, I'm going to have, since my oven needs to be at, we'll say 350 degrees. I'm going to find 350 degrees oven. And it should give you lots of different pictures, and hopefully you can find one that has 350 degrees on it. Sometimes you can get lucky and find an image, but obviously I'm not finding any. So let's back that up a little. Let me preheat. And still not getting too many images. Let's just check out ovens. Let's see what they come up with. All right, so sometimes you don't find the images that you want here. And that, obviously that's kind of limited. So what I could also do, though, I'm going to go ahead and open up another tab, and I'm going to do an image search in Google and see if something different comes up. So I'm going to do 350 degrees, preheat oven. Okay, and let's see what comes up. Now, see, this is what I'm looking for, something like this. Okay, so we're going to take this right here like that, take that picture, I'm going to right-click on it, go ahead and copy that image, go back to my presentation, and hit Control-V on my keyboard, and that should paste it in there. No, otherwise you can just right-click and hit Paste. So then you have that in there, and then now you have a direction, and you can make this a little bit bigger if you want. Kind of fill up the space. Like I said, fill up the space. You don't want to necessarily minimize your space. Okay, so then the next slide, obviously, then I would add my next slide, whatever that would be, whatever step this would be, step 3, or step 2, I'm sorry. And then whatever it is, mix whatever ingredients in a bowl or whatever. Okay, so then you would find a picture of batter in a bowl or something like that and put that in there. So that's what you would do as far as inserting pictures into your Google slideshow. So that basically takes care of that particular step. I will have other videos that will also continue on with this and show you how to do some of the background images and things like that. Obviously, I want you guys to come up with your own ideas on this. So, I want you to be as creative as possible, and we'll see how things turn out for you. All right.